Welcome everyone to Fourth and Birch. Today we are going to make another glitter epoxy swirl tumbler with the colors Tiffany, teal, turquoise, a little purple, a little black. So let's get right to it. Hello everyone, this is Jess from Fourth and Birch, and today we're back. We're going to do another epoxy swirl with glitter. I have another video out there with a beach tumbler that is basically the same idea. This one is not going to be the color changing of the beach. This is just going to be a bunch of colors that we are putting together for the tumbler itself. So it's not resembling a beach or anything specific to that. It's just colors that the person that's ordering it wanted. So I have here in front of me a 32-ounce bottle from MakerFlo, which I love their bottles. They come with 2 straws. They come with 2 different cover type things. They have like the screw off one, and then they have the one where you just flip the straw up. So yeah, they're not very expensive, and they're great. I just love these bottles. Something to think about: the bigger the ounces that you go, sometimes these don't fit very well in certain cup holders. For instance, in a car, maybe these don't fit very well. But they're 32 ounces. They're great for sports events, anything like that, and they really hold cold very, very well. So ice, whatnot. They hold my ice for a 12-hour shift, and I just keep refilling with water. It's great. So anyway, let's talk about what we're doing here. So most of the colors on this tumbler are going to be kind of a mint, Tiffany, teal-ish type thing. But we don't want all the same colors. We need kind of something a little contrasting to go with it. So we're picking out a little purple. And also, I can't quite decide yet. I have a black here, as well as what's called Midnight, which is kind of like a black mixed with silver. And then I also have an actual silver that's very holographic, kind of rainbowy effect to it. So I'm not 100% sure yet what I'm going to do for the black, gray, silver-ish part of it. I'm going to see how these other colors come together and see how much of a contrast I need. And then once we put these on, we will start swirling them later with our heat gun. But alright, so I am mixing up here, just finishing up with some Tumblerpoxy original. So this is not the Swift Epoxy. This is not the fast setting stuff. You can absolutely do this with fast setting. When I did my beach tumbler, I did, and that's cool. I typically like to do it with that, but I kind of need to use some of this original Tumblerpoxy up. And I don't have any of the UV protection drops to put in it. This stuff didn't have the greatest UV protection. The original doesn't. The new stuff out on the market does. But so this is perfect for me to use for jobs such as this, that I don't need 100% clear layer, because I'm not putting it over the top of things, and not over the top of white either. So I sprayed this first with, can't even see what, something craft. Yours craft, perhaps. I'm not really sure. It's Rustoleum, and just this cute little bottle I got probably at Hobby Lobby or something like that. But this is called Mint Green. Very light color. Came out almost white-like. So I wanted to add just a little depth to it, and because we're swirling stuff, I used my Iron Lac Frazetta, and I just threw some streaks on there. This is probably one of the worst paint jobs you'll ever see, but I don't care that much because I'm going to cover it up with a pretty thick layer. But it is about 0 degrees outside with the wind chill, and it is snowing, and then it's blowing all that snow around because it's crazy windy. We actually are under a wind advisory too on top of that. So I'm trying to spray paint this as best as I can out on our porch, which normally protects me from rain and snow, but not when the winds are as high as they are today. So I have these are like little snow, not even sure if you can see them, but it's probably not important, but I don't know, there. Water got on my paint in the form of snow, and it does not do well. But again, we're going to carve this up, so no worries. Let's talk about, let me set this aside somewhere a little safer and talk about some of my colors here. So this is a black that I might use. This is just Walmart sells this. It is Sullen Extra Fine Onyx. This is one of the sparkliest black there is out there, though. It has a sheen, almost like a purplish bluish, but it's still really pure black also. So it's hard to find a nice black that shows sparkle. Usually kind of has like a matte flat effect. This is a Recollections. This is the one that I said is kind of a black and silver mixed. It's called, I think, Midnight. Yeah, Midnight. You can kind of see it's almost like a salt and pepper look to it. So that might work well for us because it's a little more on the gray side versus the black. And then this is another Recollections. Let's see what the name of it is here. Ah, Bling. This is called Bling. You can probably see why. Not sure if we're going to use this one either. Again, we're going to see how it goes. The ones that I am going to use, we'll start with these. These are all from the same company. There are 4 of them. They are from Britches and Bows shop.com. So Britches, the letter N, Bows, B-O-W-S, shop.com. This is a touch of Tiffany. This one is Tiffany Darling. This one is Teal MeMaw. And this one is Cotton Candy. So we got those. This is, I have no idea where I got this. It looks like it's a Martha Stewart brand. It's really hard to read the label. Martha Stewart, and it's called Feldspar. I don't know. But it's kind of similar to all those. Has a little maybe silver to it. Use a little bit of that too. And then my purples that I'm bringing in are both from Recollections. This one's a little more on the pinkish side, a little more like a lilac or an orchid. But let's see what they're called. Oh, hey, look at that, orchid. And then this one is called Fairy. All right. So we're going to set these aside for the moment. Get this guy spinning. Stir this up a little more. And if you did watch the Beach Tumblerpoxy Swirl, you'll remember that we put a pretty decent flood coat of epoxy on this. So this little cup only fits about 30 cc's. So I don't know if I'm going to need more. I don't believe so. I think we'll make it work. All right, we're going to go with that. And I'm going to just start. I'm not going to save this glitter on the bottom, whatever falls on the bottom. You certainly can, but that decreases your time that your epoxy is curing, basically. or what do I want to say? You're kind of wasting time if between every one of these colors you take the bottom and put it back in here. You certainly can, but there's not going to be that much at the bottom because this epoxy soaks up a lot of this. So we're going to try our best to cover this whole thing with glitter. Tip this up a little bit. Can always come back and add more. This one's really pretty. It's got like a little bit of silver flecks in it. Touch of Tiffany, yeah. So I'm not really doing big globs, I'm not really doing lines. This is all going to swirl together later. But if I put super big globs, I'm going to waste some glitter, which I don't want. And if I do too many lines, my swirls aren't going to look very natural, I guess. These tumblers are important to paint the tumbler underneath before you start this. Because once we start moving this around with the heat gun and movement and all that, and it starts moving, there are going to be areas that just don't have any glitter. The epoxy is going to kind of move away from them and all that. And you don't want a big silver tumbler showing. So that's why you want to get as close as you can to the colors that you're actually using. This one I'm going to carefully shake on because my spoon won't fit in there. This one is close to one of my other colors. Not exactly, but close. Sometimes you actually start losing where you actually have glitter or not because your paint is so closely colored to your glitter. I mean, I guess that's a good thing. All right, we're going to start to add a little bit of these other colors in here. These I want to be maybe in a little more of a line. Not perfect by any means. But a little of a more flow. But you will soon see that where you put these colors is nowhere really that they end up when you're done. So that's probably enough of that purple. Because again, this is more just an accent instead of this one, I'm going to go to something a little darker. This is called Grape. That one doesn't have this off either. Boy, just can't decide. Maybe not Grape. I don't know. Maybe this one. Yeah, maybe this one. This one is from Sparkly MeMaw. It is called Too Fine. Yeah, I might do that one. It's got a little kind of pinkish hue to it. A little bit of a blue-ish as well. So hopefully it'll kind of pull some of these colors together. I'm gonna go with that. This is some of my Midnight, which remember is a little bit of black and what looks like a little bit of silver. It's always tough for me to choose some of these contrasting colors, because until you actually see it, all right, I think that's good for the black. I might go and just add a little more of this one, I think. This one is the Tiffany Darling. Just any spots that it looks like I missed putting glitter. Boy, it's so windy out there. I hear stuff banging around on my porch. Don't exactly know what it is, but I will find out when I'm done. All right, I think everywhere has glitter. I think. Bottom's looking okay. Tiny bit right there. All right. So, a very important part, get your excess glitter out of here. All right, taking our handy dandy heat gun. I'm gonna add some heat to this, first all over, and then maybe to some specific spots. So I'm gonna crank my heat all the way up. I want this to get thinner and start moving around. If you watch closely, you'll start seeing it get more liquidy or more fluid, which I see in a few areas. It's kind of starting to almost clump up in some areas here. So when that starts happening, we're going to take our tumbler turner and kind of start turning it on end, and you can start seeing it move already. This can be messy. It's probably going to drip. So just be ready for that. I know that there's not a great way around that. I'm going to switch opposite directions also. This way, get our bottom a little better. Just gonna stop that for a second. What I want to start seeing is this. I want the swirls kind of going up and down, not just this way, but I like this and this, just like that. And the only way you're going to get that is by tilting your cup turner like this. There's a couple places that I don't like how much purple, like this purple spread out here. I don't care for that very much. Maybe a little here too. You can't come and put a ton more glitter on because your epoxy's already kind of soaking some of it up already, if that makes sense. Plus there's also some bare spots here too. I actually might just need a tiny bit more of this black too. Alright, let's add a little bit of heat to that. And the only other thing really, I'm going to use this touch of Tiffany. It's kind of a big bare spot that I saw up here. Mostly just from the epoxy moving around. pretty good. This is regular Tumblerpoxy, so it is not fast setting. So this is actually going to keep kind of doing its thing for a little while yet, which sometimes I like, sometimes I don't. So sometimes that's why I use the faster setting epoxy, but this one doesn't have a whole lot of what I call runners, which is where you have kind of like here, but this is barely one, where you just have a whole clump that just starts to run, and you eventually have like one whole color in a line around the whole thing. I don't want that. I want my swirls going back and forth this way. But I don't think I'm going to get the runners, so I'm happy with this. I have some running going on in the neck of it, but that's kind of to be expected the way that it's the contour of it. And yeah, I think that's actually pretty good. So this is going to sit overnight, and then tomorrow, I actually don't have any decals or anything to put on this. So this is not something that you sand a whole lot of. It's going to be a little rough. It's not going to be completely smooth. It's going to be a little rough. You could try to sand out if there's kind of some chunks that are sticking up, but you don't want to sand into your glitter, and your glitter is very close to the surface on this one. But anyway, throw another layer of epoxy on, and I mean, that might be good. That might be it. Kind of have to see what it feels like, see how kind of lumpy and bumpy it is, but the way it looks, at least, I'm very happy with it. All right, so welcome back. This is our bottle with the swirls. The sticker here lifted a little bit on this bottom, so I'll have to make sure to seal that appropriately. But otherwise, so this is fairly smooth. It almost feels soft. It's really hard to explain. There's definitely a tiny, tiny bit of roughness, but it almost feels like the smoothest sandpaper you've ever felt. There's a couple places, like here, like I always talk about, like around the butt rim, that the glitter likes to stick out a little more. So whether you sand it or throw the epoxy layer on and take your chances, we'll see. Because of this bottom here, with that sticker kind of being a little difficult, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to put 2 more coats of epoxy on this. Sometimes with these swirls, you can get away with just 1 more layer of epoxy and you're good to go. But this one, I just want to be on the safe side, and that's not laying super flat. So anyway, yeah. But that is our swirl. Because of the bottle here, I'm going to tape this up with some electric tape. I'm going to give my epoxy about another millimeter here to finish sealing this. And that'll be about it. All right. So this is it for this guy. I'll try to get a photo or a quick video outside with better lighting, but it's still single-digit temperatures out there, so if I do get that, it certainly won't be for very long. But I think it would do it a little more justice of what this really looks like. Otherwise, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you next time.